Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm making chocolate chunk blondies, and these are so chocolatey that they look like brownies, as you can see. If you like baking recipes or cooking recipes, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I try to publish a few times a week, at least twice a week. So I have always new videos coming out, and these blondies are delicious. They are chewy. If you like chewy brownies, you're definitely going to like these. They are very sweet, and they have a lot of chocolate chunks, not chocolate chips, chocolate chunks from Nestlé. They are delicious, and they have a lot more chocolate flavor. So these are very easy. You are going to start with 2 sticks of butter in a bowl, and I use a hand mixer, but you can also use a stand mixer, and 1 cup of brown sugar, light brown sugar, and half a cup of white granulated sugar. So you're just going to keep going with these, and I start on low just so that I can get everything mixed up. And I am creaming these for about a couple of minutes. You want to get them nice and creamy, and sometimes that takes a little bit of time. Here's something that you need to pay attention to when you're baking. First of all, you want to make sure that your measurements are correct. So for light brown sugar, you want it to be packed. So you put your measuring cup into the sugar, you fill it up, and then you press it down into the cup. And that's what's called packed brown sugar. And that's how you measure brown sugar. For granulated sugar, it's just scooping. So you just scoop the sugar with the measuring cup and level it off, and that's your correct measurement. There is a lot of difference in volume. If you just scoop the light brown sugar, you are not going to have the same amount as if you pack it down the way that it's supposed to be. So that's one of the things you have to pay attention to when you bake. A lot of people who enjoy cooking sometimes don't enjoy baking because baking needs a lot of precision, but I'm the opposite. I love both. I have a very linear type of brain, so measurements are kind of my thing. And even when I'm cooking, I enjoy even measuring the salt and pepper that I put in my recipes, so you will see that they will be very precise in that way. So I have creamed the butter and the 2 sugars, and now I'm adding 2 extra large eggs. This is also different. Most recipes call for large eggs. If you only have large eggs on hand, make sure you use 3. Here, I have extra large eggs, so I'm using only 2, and I had a little bit of the egg peel in there, so I just had to pick that out. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla. It's quite a bit of vanilla. These are very delicious, very well seasoned. And you're going to see that I add some salt later on. It's good to add salt to baked goods because it really seasons it. And I think food should be well seasoned, and you can do that with baked goods as well. And that only elevates the taste of the sugar and the vanilla and everything else that you put in it. So I'm just mixing those in. You want those eggs to be well mixed. You can add 1 egg and then mix it in, and then add another egg and do that. I usually don't do it that way, but you can if you have more time on your hands. So now I'm adding 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and this is the scooping and leveling method. So that's how you do that. You scoop it, you level it off, and that's the measurement. And that's 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm also going to add 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and I enjoy kosher salt. And I think it tastes better than table salt. Table salt is a little harsh. You know, if you ever are in the mood to see how you can improve your cooking and your baking, make sure that you buy a few different types of salt and then taste them and see which one you like best. I prefer kosher salt. I think it's softer, and I love to bake with it. Most of the recipes that I use, when I do use recipes or when I'm just developing recipes, I try to put in the recipe what type of salt I'm using because I want it to be perfect. And if you use kosher salt, the volume is different than table salt. So So if I tell you to use 1 teaspoon of kosher salt and you use table salt, it's going to be twice as much. So it's going to be too salty. That's why these things have to be mentioned. So I added the dry ingredients and mixed those in. And now I'm adding 1 pound of chocolate chunks. You can make these with chocolate chips, of course, but it won't be as chocolatey. That's why these end up looking like brownies at the end and not like Blondies, because they are so full of chocolate. And instead of using the mixer for this, I enjoy just using a wooden spoon to fold them in. And that way I also make sure that my Blondies are not going to be too tough. The more you mix the dry ingredients in and the flour, the tougher your end result is going to be. So be careful with that. Just mix it in enough to get the flour ready and incorporated. So now I have a 9x13 baking dish that I sprayed with cooking spray, and this is the regular cooking spray. It doesn't have to be the baking cooking spray. If you have that on hand, great, but this is just regular PAM or cooking spray. And I make sure that it's well distributed in the baking pan. So you're going to see that I'm going to even it out as I put it in there. Make sure you go all the way to the edges and that you have it even. That way it's going to bake at the same rate. If you don't do this, then some parts will be underbaked and other parts will be overbaked, and you don't want overbaked Blondies. That's why it's important to put these in a 350-degree oven, and mine cook in exactly 32 minutes. Now you're going to have to see what your oven is like. You should have an oven thermometer at all times and make sure that your oven is well regulated. If you know that 350 is really 350, it will probably take about 32 minutes. So I will show you what it looks like when it comes out, and you should have a little bit, it's okay to have a little bit of chocolate on the knife, but no wet batter. So you want to make sure that it comes out clean, and that's the final result. They are chewy, they are sweet, they are extremely chocolatey and butterscotchy, because that's the good thing about a good Blondie. You have that butterscotch taste and the chocolate as well. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I hope you make it for your family. Leave it in the comments if you do make it, if you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for being here. Again, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a recipe. And I post a few times a week. I hope you come back and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for being here. Bye.